name is David Moore. I'm the police chief here in Janesville, and I'd like to thank everybody for coming here this morning for the unveiling of Project Sober Streets. Standing in support of Project Sober Streets, to my immediate right is Kate Baldwin, who is the Director of Partners in Prevention, and to her right is Neil Dupree, who is the Chair of the Criminal Justice Coordinating Committee. And both of these individuals will make a comment towards the end of this presentation. Rock County District Attorney David O'Leary intended to be here but was unavailable. I'd like to offer some thanks to the Rock County Sheriff's Department, the Wisconsin Department of Corrections, and the U.S. Postal Service, as all of those folks helped us with the data collection to make this project possible. And also to Janesville's IT department and GIS department, as they proved to be very important to make this possible as well. And lastly, and most important, is Leslie Reed, and Leslie's to the rear of the room here in the blue shirt. She was the administrative person that really brought this project together. It's been a long and arduous task. I think it's probably about 6 months we've been working to bring this together, so Leslie worked very hard, and she will be walking you through the project here in a few moments. As a backdrop as to why we developed this project, the Janesville Police Department constantly looks at issues in this community, and we try and identify those issues that pose a threat to the safety and welfare of our citizens. Some other examples are our efforts with gangs in this community. We send officers out that meet with gang members and their families in their home to try and dissuade them from staying with the gang. For our drug investigations, we're constantly working with our neighborhoods to rid them of drug houses and street drug sales. And most recently is our domestic violence intervention team, where we send officers out with YWCA advocates to meet with victims of violence within the first 72 hours to stop that cycle of violence. So Project Sober Streets was really the next logical step in that effort. Intoxicated driving is a problem in America, and it clearly is a problem in Wisconsin. A survey released this month by the Department of Health and Human Services indicates that Wisconsin has more drivers that drive under the influence than any other state in America. The survey showed that 23.7% of Wisconsin drivers surveyed said that they drove while under the influence in the past year. The Janesville Police Department believes that intoxicated driving poses a risk to the safety and welfare of our citizens, and accordingly, the Police Department has identified those persons in our community that have extensive operating while under the influence convictions. Specifically, those citizens that have 5 or more convictions for OWI, with the last conviction occurring within the last 5 years. Project Sober Streets publicly identifies those OWI offenders by use of an interactive map that offers the name, address, number of OWI convictions, photograph, driver's license status, and if applicable, probation status. The intent of Project Sober Streets is to allow citizens to know where these OWI offenders reside in the community, so citizens can take appropriate precautions to avoid a traffic incident with the offender. Citizens can inform the police department of observed violations of law, such as OWI or driving without a driver's license, or violations of probation rules. And I can tell you that any of these offenders that are on probation, they have 2 general rules. One is that they cannot drink, and the other is that they cannot be in an establishment that serves alcohol. So if citizens were to see an offender either drinking or in a bar or some other place that serves alcohol, they'd be able to contact the Janesville Police Department, and we would investigate and take appropriate action. The project also publicly discloses the identity of the OWI offenders, and this is intended to dissuade these offenders and others from driving while intoxicated. The number of repeat OWI offenders in Rock County is nothing short of astounding. According to the Wisconsin Department of Transportation, there are 1,054 offenders in Rock County that have 4 or more convictions. There are 391 offenders in Janesville with 4 or more OWI convictions. And there are 192 offenders in Janesville with 5 or more OWI convictions. Initially, Project Sober Streets intended to show the offenders with 4 or more convictions, but the numbers were just too great to manage. We relented and decided that we would identify those offenders with 5 or more convictions with the most recent conviction within 5 years. And this resulted in a population of 74 offenders. 55 offenders are on the map, and 19 are currently incarcerated. In 2009, the Janesville officers arrested 320 offenders for OWI, and 2010 seems to show a similar track, as we have arrested 303 offenders as of December of this year. Project Sober Streets focus is consistent with the department's philosophy of identifying safety threats to our community and developing a proactive and problem-solving approach to address issues. As we looked at this project and wanting to move forward with it, one of the things we did was look around the nation for someone else that is doing it, and we didn't find anybody. Nobody else, we're relatively assured, is doing this type of project. So as best we can tell, this is the first of its type in the nation. I can also tell you that all of the information that is disclosed with Project Sober Streets is public information. You would be able to go to various sources and find all this information. What we did is bring it together in a more useful way for citizens to access it and be able to use it for the citizens' safety benefit. So Leslie, if you can bring up the computer, we can show folks what the site looks like.
This would be the City of Janesville homepage for our website. There's 2 different ways to access the map. You go to our City Government tab, which lists all of our departments. You can then go to the Police Department website, and you'll see on the left-hand side a link for Project Sober Streets. This first window that appears just has some technical information on how to make the site accessible. We also have a statement of purpose, a tutorial, and some frequently asked questions on the right-hand side. Before you can enter the site, there is a legal disclaimer. This is the initial view of the website. You are able to see at once all of the offenders that reside in Janesville. Again, there are 55 individuals on the map with 5 or more OWIs. There's 2 different ways to see the information. If you hover on one of the blue octagons, you can see the individual's name and address. If you click on the octagon, a separate window will pop up that has his photograph, name, address. It has his license status, which is revoked. He is on probation, and he has 6 OWI offenses. You can also click on the photo if you'd like a larger photo of the individual. The other way to search for information would be to search by address, if you'd like to see who maybe lives close to your house or a school in Janesville. I'm just going to put in the department's address. So here's the police department with a red dot. There are 2 offenders that we can see nearby. And again, if you'd like to see more information, you can either hover on the point or click on it for the pop-up window with the individual's information.
Leslie, I know we looked at some schools, and there were some offenders that were pretty close to some of the schools. Maybe you could either enter the address of the school or go directly to it.
811 North Pine Street would be Washington Elementary School in Janesville. You can see on the map here's Washington Elementary School, and there are 2 offenders that live in very close proximity. There again, you can see the offender's information. There are some technical aspects of using the site because it's based on our city's GIS website. If there are any questions, there's a help box up on the right-hand corner, which again has that tutorial with different ways to search for the information, and also frequently asked questions if someone wanted to know, again, what the probation restrictions are, or if there is an error, how do you report it. There's also an email address associated just with this project, Project Sober Streets at ci.janesville.wis.us.